Hey, so this is B and Max, and we hope we can help you guys in learning how to susu train or potty train your dog at home. It's lockdown, many of you might have had a dog recently without even knowing some of the basics of doing these kind of trainings. So here is one video. I'll be talking more, probably cannot show much, but if you understand the concepts, I hope this is going to help you as well in doing a proper susu potty training and avoiding a lot of accidents at home. And slowly, steadily, gradually, your dog will learn to do only outside your home. So all the best, keep watching and listen to it. So Max, here is what you should all know, that dogs naturally never want to do susu or potty in the areas where they live. Max also doesn't want to do that, of course. Then why do you think that when you bring home a puppy, suddenly they start doing susu potty everywhere, all over your house, your drawing room, your kitchen and whatnot? So the problem is when the puppies are out in the wild, their mother usually keeps them in a small hole or a cave. And for such a small puppy, any human house is quite big enough for them to understand that this is their whole area or their whole territory. Because they are from the natural habitat very used to small confined places in the beginning. And slowly and steadily, they need to be introduced to larger areas, and you have to make them realize that your territory is expanding and your living area is also expanding. So if you can successfully transition your puppy from a small confined place to a larger area as a living room for them or a living area for them, this is what is called in the dog training world housebreaking, and you can easily, very nicely, without having too many accidents here and there, you can really transition your dog into susu training or potty training. So your first objective is to build a small cave for your new puppy, and from that small cave you are going to transition your puppy to a wider space, which is your living room, including your bedroom, your kitchen and your whole house. So let's talk about it. You can search in Amazon, or you can go to your local pet store and look for either a crate. You can, if you don't know what is a crate, just ask those guys, they will show you what is a crate. Or if you would like, you can also order something which I have used. I didn't like a crate, so I ordered some exercise pen. They are equally good, and you don't care whether it's a crate or exercise pen. What you have to really think of is building that small cave, which I've talked about earlier, where your puppy can barely stand, not able to move a lot. It is going to be a place where they're going to sleep quite peacefully without having much room to roam around. So in a way, it is going to be as good as a hole where probably the mother dog might have delivered the puppy, or it could be a small cave where they can barely fit in. Of course, their movement should not be restricted in a way that they are not able to stand or not able to sit or not able to sleep, but only that is all. It should not have enough space to move around, roam around, because that is going to defeat the whole purpose. So to give you guys one example, I'm going to show to you one picture of one exercise pen which I bought from the local pet store, and this is the one I used for crate training Max. And if you see this picture, you will find that Max has enough room to sleep, to rest, but I have filled most of the spaces with a towel, with his pillow, so that he doesn't get any room to do susu or potty over there. So the moment you put the small puppy into the crate, the puppy will start whining, and you have to be really strong in your heart and not to give up on the whining. Be close to the puppy. Don't try to pet them, or don't try to do anything giving them an impression that the more they whine, you are going to be there. That is going to increase the whining even more. So what you have to do basically is, the moment they start whining, you ignore. Don't keep the crate in the middle of the house, that only increases the whining. You have to make sure it is very similar to a crate. Put it in a corner of your house. So let's say you have put your puppy. Oh. So let's say you have put your puppy inside a crate. They will start whining, and you have to make sure the puppy understands that if they whine, you are not going to be around. Rather, it's only when the whining stops, you should go and sit next to that cage. And I used to, in fact, bring in my laptop, sit next to the puppy during this lockdown. So even continue doing my work so that the puppy never feels that they are alone, but they are still confined into that crate. Now the big thing is, how long do you confine them? So here is what happens in a sequence or in a series. Max, so you wait. So he wants to play. So the first thing is, the moment you put them in a crate, they can hold their bladder only for, let's say, if the puppy is 1 month, they can hold maximum for 1.5 hours or max 2 hours, not more than that. Give me a moment. Max. Right, so we are back. Let's say your dog has already done a susu. Could be in the right place, could be somewhere else in your house, could be an accident, because you are yet to get started with the crate training. So the first one is always discounted. Once they do it, play a lot with that pup, and your play sessions should be somewhere within that area where you are going to designate for doing susu. So could be a bathroom, could be a balcony. I'm just considering the cases where you have an apartment or even a house. So it could be a rooftop. Use that place for play and susu together for the initial time. Usually for a small puppy, 10 to 15 minutes of play will really make them tired. You will find the tongue coming out like this, right? And that is the moment when you will pick your puppy with your hand and then put that puppy into that crate. Close the door, ignore them, right? Now here is one thing, you have to really ignore them. If they whine, ignore them. You will only come to them when they stop the whining. If you make this mistake of coming close to them when they are whining, they know that whining brings my owner close to me, and they are going to use it against you all the time, whining, so that you come close to the puppy. So you close the door, ignore the whining, and stay somewhere nearby. Like I said earlier, don't keep the crate somewhere in the middle of the room. Keep it always in one of the corners so that it gives them more secure feeling. If they find it insecure in the middle of the room, inside a cage, they will actually get more aggravated and it will increase the whining. So once you're done ignoring the whining, you will find that your puppy finally gets tired because of the play as well as the whining, and they will sleep. Usually they will sleep for 1 or 2 hours. And here is what you have to initial days keep in mind, that if it is, I'm considering it's just 1 month or barely 1.5 months, somewhat around second hour, 2 hours time, the puppy will wake up. If the puppy doesn't wake up, you are anyway hanging around, so of course because of your noise, the puppy usually wakes up, is what I would say. Now this is the time their bladder is almost full, and the most important thing, pay attention to this, you have to pick the puppy with your hand after opening the door. Don't drop the puppy here and there, don't make them walk, and go to your bathroom or your balcony where you want the puppy to do susu or potty. Drop them in that place from your hand only. Don't use a leash, don't make them walk and come to this place, just drop them there. They should know, I'm coming out of the cage, my bladder is full, and this is one place where I have to empty it. Drop them, immediately they will do susu or potty. If they are not doing immediately, spend some time, play with them over there. Now let's say the puppy actually does susu over there in your balcony or in your bathroom. Let's say I'm going to refer to it as your balcony going forward. Play with them a lot, because the pup also needs a balance of sleeping as well as playing. Since you are putting that puppy into a confined place for 2 hours, you have to give them at least 15 to 20 minutes of playtime. You can use a towel to play with them, a small ball to play with them in the balcony, but make sure the puppy gets enough exercise and again finds itself tired. Similar signs, you will see the tongue coming out they are sitting somewhere on their own or sometimes lying down, this is the time for them to take rest. So here is again what you have to do. Pick the puppy again and put them back to the crate, lock the crate door and ignore them. First 2 or 3 days, the puppy will whine when you ignore them, but if you are consistent enough not to go to the puppy when they are whining, you will see the whining stops. It's just as simple as the first time when you put your son or your daughter into a school bus, they were crying a lot, right? You have ignored it. And as days have passed on, they have also learned how to go to school on the school bus, and there's no harm in it. Right? So the same logic you have to apply with the puppy for the first 2 or 3 weeks. Now the puppy will sleep again for 2 hours. Again after 2 hours, open the door, take the puppy out in your hand. Again, don't make them walk, and put the puppy again to your balcony for them to release. So this cycle is something you have to establish for at least first 2-4 days, and you will notice that it becomes a habit for them. Now obviously there are a few questions which you might have. Is this something which is going to happen forever? The answer is no. And the other thing is this something I have to do at night as well? The answer is yes. And that is where the experience comes in. It's just like having a newborn baby in your house. So anyone who is a parent, you know that with your babies, human childs also, you have spent some sleepless nights, which you have to do again in this case. So every 2 hours you can put an alarm. Considering your puppy is just 1 month or barely 1.5 months old, the time usually increases by the months your puppy's age is, plus minus 1 hour to half an hour. Right? So you have to put on an alarm. That is what I used to do. Wake up, take him out from the crate, and make sure the susu is done. During night time, make sure you are not playing. Just put them back into the crate, and this is something you have to keep on repeating. Now let me also introduce another thing, which is giving food. So when you are taking the puppy out, you of course have a routine for giving your puppy food. Most likely it will be 4 times or 3 times depending upon what you are comfortable with and your vet might have advised to you. I used to feed initially 4 to 5 times for Max, and slowly now that he is 10 months old, I feed him only 2 times in a day. And he's, by the way, not anymore in any crate after the first 2 months. So it was only the 2 months routine which I'm talking about. It could be even lesser than that for you. So what you have to do now, you have introduced food also in that whole cycle, and your puppy now knows there is only one place where immediately he goes, he will release and he will play, and or maybe have the food, and once done, go back to the crate and sleep. So once you have established this regime, you have made the puppy know that the crate is the living area, and the place where they are doing susu and potty is the area where they have to do their business every day. Now, is this going to be forever the life for you? The answer is again no. So how you transition them back to the crate expanding to the whole living area? This is where the trick is. So next time, let's say you have spent this for 2 to 3 days or maybe at least a week, I'd say to be on a safer side, to maybe give it for a week. Once the first week is done, your puppy knows that there is a place where they have to go and do susu or potty. What you are going to do now, you will take your puppy out like usual, but there is only one small change. You are going to put a leash on the puppy. You will not make the puppy walk to that area yet, or you can probably take that risk, it's all up to you. But you will take your puppy to that area with the leash and see that the puppy actually is doing susu over there. Once the susu is done, don't close the door of your balcony and play with the puppy. Rather, come a little bit far from the balcony so that still being on a leash, your puppy can reach the balcony very quickly if they have to go for a susu, and start playing with them. Here is one video for you, just showing how I used to do this with Max. Excuse my casual attire over there because this is what I have done, and I just found this old video from my phone and thought I'll probably show it to you. when you are playing with your puppy, once the first susu is done outside of the crate, your puppy will also feel another urge for release, and which is normal. The moment they play, they actually have that urge. And you will suddenly notice that the puppy knows that around you is also their living area. They are not going to do susu just next to you. So you will feel a sudden tension on the leash. Your puppy will suddenly realize that the puppy has to release, and this is where your observation also comes into play. You will notice that the puppy is suddenly going towards the balcony. If it goes towards the balcony, that's the right choice for the puppy. Go along with the puppy. The moment they do susu over there, give your puppy a small treat. When I say a small treat, it has to be a food treat in the initial days for the puppy. Praise them a lot. Good boy, good girl, you have done the right thing. And within 1 second of the puppy doing the susu over there, you have to give a small treat. Could be a cheese ball, could be a treat. I used to have, in fact, Himalaya chicken biscuit, but I'm not promoting Himalaya chicken biscuit in this video. It's purely just to help others in the community. So please feel free to use any kind of treat in a very small amount and give it to your puppy. Now your puppy knows if they do susu in that right place, they're going to get a treat, and this is how you're going to motivate your puppy. Just like when your kid used to go to a school bus without crying, maybe you might have given a chocolate to them. I don't give chocolates anymore and not treats anymore to Max, but it takes some time for them to learn. Now this is something where probably there is no exact instruction which comes into play. Your whole target is going to be continuing this regime, keeping your dog on a leash when they are out and playing somewhere close to that area, and slowly expand that area. When you are doing this, you are also taking a little bit of risk. It's true, being a small puppy, as they grow, at least till first 2 months or 3 months, there may be once or in a while that they might still do susu outside that balcony area, let's say. Now, the moment they do, just remember it's just an accident. Even our kids might have done susu in their bed when they were a kid, and they were just accidents, right? So never scold them. It just passes on a wrong information to them. They don't realize that they have done something wrong by doing susu elsewhere. Rather, they feel that very confused, in fact, and they feel like, maybe my person or my owner or my companion has a problem with me doing susu, rather than understanding doing at the wrong place is the problem. So if you accidentally scold them, what typically happens is they will try not to do susu in front of you, which of course is again not going to help you in your play training, because you want the dog to do susu in front of you when you are controlling their overall doing that stuff. So don't scold them. And one more important part here is that how do you clean that susu when they have done it in a location where you don't want them to do every time. So regular Dettol or Harpic or stuff like that, what we use for cleaning, doesn't actually take the odor out. We have a very powerful nose. So for the dog to know that this is not the place, or this is not a place where I should do susu, the first thing is you have to clean it very, very nicely. And I'm going to show you a product which I use. Again, I'm not promoting this product. You can go and talk to your local store or find in Amazon. There are many similar kind of cleaners available. Now these cleaners are specifically designed to remove the odor so that your dog don't come to that place again and sniff and then do susu there, right? So that is what you have to make sure. So any accidents in your kitchen, in your living room, anywhere, you have to make sure you are using any of these products or similar products to clean it, not regular Dettol, Phenyl, Harpic or anything that we use. None of them actually clean that smell for the dog, maybe for us. So slowly, steadily, you will notice that your dog is doing susu in that right location, let's say your balcony or bathroom, and you have to give the treat within that 1 second. Now this 1 second time is very important because dogs live in moments. If you are delaying giving the treat, probably they are into some other moment and they will think as if you are giving treat for something else. So your dog should know the treat is because the dog is doing susu in the right location. And you will find your dog actually not doing susu anywhere, probably sometimes even doing susu there and wagging the tail and waiting for you to give the treat. So once you achieve these, it depends from dog to dog. For Max, it took almost 1.5 months to 2 months to achieve this kind of thing. there were no accidents at some point of time, and then I took the leash off also, and we used to play in the house. And whenever he felt like he had to release, he was always going to that bathroom, and then doing his business, and he used to come back. So for me, it's only a struggle for first 1.5 months. After that, I never had to do anything. He was always leash free, collar free at home, was roaming around freely. Whenever he had to release, he used to go there. Once Max crossed 3 months, the initial pain of not taking him out because of parvovirus scare and all was over. All his 3 vaccines were done. So I started taking him out for a walk, and in fact he got so well trained that initial days he even was not doing anything outside. So that was another struggle for me. It may not be the case for you, but once in a while he started doing outside, and now over a period of time he never ever bothered to do any susu potty anywhere where we don't want him to do. It has been always outside, and I started transitioning him by, again, whenever he did a susu or potty outside, I used to give him a small treat. So now I don't use any treats with him. It was only the initial days. So hopefully this experience, what I have shared, is going to help you as well. Good luck with your training. Feel free to comment, and if you have any specific questions, maybe I'll try to answer that also. There's no commercial intent of this. I am not promoting any product. It's just I visit some of the forums and I find it's something which is going to help some of you. So good luck with your dog, and hopefully for the new owners this is going to help.